Hello everybody, this is Maniac for Bricks, and I am here today with set number 8730, Toa Hewkii Inika. This is a Bionicle set from 2006, ages 7 to 16, 62 pieces, one figure included, and originally this retailed for about $10. This was one of 6 different Toa Inika figures released in the same year, and there's not much of the backstory to really tell you. These originally were Matoran, and I believe this was what Hewkii originally looked like, by the way. And at one point in the Bionicle story, if you're not familiar with it, just know that they were transformed into Toa by the Red Star. It was basically a thunderbolt that had special power to transform them into Toa and defend the island of Voya Nui. So let's take a closer look at this set now. And I have done a previous video showing the Toa Inika packaging with Toa Matoro, but since it's been a long time since that review, I might as well go through it thoroughly again. First, what you see for this package, it's kind of a skinny one. It's not as wide as some other Bionicle packages tend to be. You get the basic figure shown here with all the details in the bottom. There is a try-me section on the top. For each of these canisters, you were able to access the weapon that was shown on the top. And by pressing the button, you get to activate one of the features in the set, which is a light-up weapon. Now, it keeps the light for a good amount of time, I would say, for play value. Even though you'd have to press it again if you wanted to keep it lit. But it's still neat. Instead of just being a button that you press on and off. This, does well. Also on the top, you can see 4 different, 4 of the same color, trying to think of the word. I can't remember it. You see each of those Zamor spheres, thank you. Sorry I forgot about it. They're included with the set. It's actually not exactly shown the right way on the package, since on the package it shows that they're a dark red, and on the top they are a lighter yellow translucent color. On the back you get to see again some of the play features of the figure. You get to see the areas of Voya Nui from which these figures sort of originate and kind of make their way through. And it shows you the rest of the figures on the side. Now, what's strange about this figure, he is the Toa of Stone, but he's not like the traditional Toa of Stone. As I open him up, I'll explain. For the Toa of Stone, they are generally made in a brown color. But for this and other characters from Bionicle, they have been made into more like a yellowish orange color. So here's the look at the tray that we get on the top. Little spot to put your weapon and have these Zamor spheres on top. Then if your figure fits inside of there, kind of a crammed position. You will have to take him apart just to get him out of there, or just to get him in there. And I'll have to shake it a couple times just to get him out of there. Okay, we got a chain, and we got the rest of him. We pulled his head off. Perhaps you'll want to give me a minute so I can take this out. There we go. Alright, that wasn't that bad. Luckily, I didn't have to cut the video in order to make that happen. So, I'll just assemble him quickly on camera and give you a closer look at this set. So, a lot of the components for this set are pretty much the same as we've seen in other Toa Inika figures. A lot of the basic body types are the same, but they do have differences in their color scheme, their weapons generally, and this one actually has something that others do not. Unless I built it wrong, these parts are actually upside down. Again, they could be built wrong. And what's different about this figure, he has a different body armor than I've shown you before. I think Toa Matoro also has that same body armor, so I've reviewed him. You could see it that way. But that's not the only different thing. With his weapon, it actually has a chain with all these small links you attach together by hand. All of that links around to his weapon. You can see how it looks on the back. That's very interesting because it's not something we've seen with other figures. Generally, they, would have a little bit of difference between them as far as elements, but this one adds a couple more pieces. A lot of them, if you count these individually. So, not much to say for this figure particularly. I didn't really think it was my favorite or anything particularly special except for, just the look of him. But as a character from the storyline, he didn't do much for me. He's got a lot of metallic color to him instead of having more like the yellowish orange color I was describing before. So it's really taking a color change from what normally would be the Toe of Stone in brown. So that's kind of, I don't know, I am not really a fan of it. I actually liked it in the brownish color better. But it's interesting that they took that step. And they also did that, like I said, for other figures after this one. So, he's got an interesting mask. I like the design of the mask. And if you haven't seen before, the mask is actually made of a semi-flexible material. And that just fits around this pretty empty-looking skull. Now, the skull itself can be lit up and is actually able to glow in the dark. But it's very hard for me to capture it on camera. As I'm talking, I'm trying to get it to light up a little bit. It's very hard to see on camera, as I've tried to do it with other Toa Hewkii figures. So, you're probably not going to see the best results even through the mask, or with or without the mask being on. I don't think it'll even work for just the few minutes, not even a minute, that I put it under there now. But I'll test it anyways. Probably would help if I turned off these lights. Yeah, we're not really getting it on the camera, and even in person, I can't really see it that well. But it would take a lot more time for it to develop the glow in the dark. Although you can see the bright light from the axe. It's actually an axe that he has as a weapon. You can see that lighting up very well in here. Go turn on the lights again, I suppose. Can you hear me now? Yeah, that's fun. Anyways, other than those features for this model, we also have a third feature. By the way, I forgot to mention that he also has ball joints for all of his ligaments and limbs. Something you probably would have recognized right away. The third feature we have is his Zamor Sphere launcher, much like the other ones from the Toa Hewkii as well as from the Paraka. You just simply push on the back of it and it'll launch the ball. Now with this test run, you can see that they do occasionally pop out from the top, because the top one isn't exactly secure compared to the other ones. It has a lot of it being open just from hanging over here and also having this area open. So it is likely you'll have to chase them around the room if you were to play with this. But, it's still a neat feature. Maybe just take one of them out and then continue playing with it so that they don't keep popping out when you don't want them to. A very interesting figure. I'm happy to have this one. And if I've guessed correctly, this is the fourth Toa Hewkii figure I've reviewed of 4. I do not have all 6 of them, so I do apologize if I can't do an entire collection video with the completed Toa Hewkii collection. Although, it might be an interesting thought. Let me know what you think about this figure compared to the other ones. Maybe, if you want, post a comment if you want to see a collection video of all the Toa Hewkii that I personally own. Just the way I've done it for minifigures, I could try to do it with Bionicle figures. And not only for just the Toa Hewkii, we could also try it with some other Bionicle figures at different years and different sub-themes. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time with more LEGO set reviews.